Furlough.
Oh, finally. Jesus. Oh, I can't tell you.
What do you mean, finally, Jesus?
Listen, when you give me a time, listen, I know people get a little tired of us bickering about the time that we start this, but when you give me a time and then you don't like ahead of time tell me it's not going to be the time, I start prepping. Right. I had started drinking and I'd gotten everything ready so that by the time that literally at 5:00 when you tell me you're not going to be ready till like 7, I've already drank 2 drinks. I was going to plan to drink the other 2 with you. And so now we're at 7:00. I've had 7 fucking drinks. This is
the plan. Yeah. Now you're loose. You're hammered.
Loose. I'm fucking.
You're mad.
I'm barely competent.
Right. Well, I mean,
listen.
Different than when you're sober.
If you want me this fucked up for the podcast, then you've got to carry the weight, my friend. So I hope you've come with like treasure chest full of stories today for everybody. Otherwise, I'm gonna go off on you for. I have a good theme.
Nobody wants to hear you go off on me.
Yeah, that is for sure not true.
You don't become like people are going to be like, oh, Ben's great, but except when he's drunk, he becomes obnoxious, Ben.
But that's not true. Everyone, listen. This is a proven fact. I could call 10 people right now, and 10 out of 10 people would say...
Yeah, Billy and Bobby don't count.
10 out of 10 people would say drunk Ben is the best version of Ben. Okay? That's irrefutable. You would even...
they don't count.
You would even attest to that. You know that.
Yeah. I'm just not going to put you over.
I know, but you know the best version of me is the one you're getting today. Drunk Ben.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Drunk Ben, welcome. Welcome, Drunk Ben.
Thank you. It's good to be here finally. I'm glad you guys finally booked me.
Finally, yeah. It's like we're booking a new guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'd rather Drunk Ben than Drunk Billy. I'm just saying.
Well, that's Sunday day of the week. Drunk Billy ain't bad. Drunk Billy might get a little physical, but Drunk Billy ain't bad. Drunk Jackie's the one you got to look out for.
Drunk Jackie was one of the worst things ever, literally.
But
I don't think people realize.
Wait a minute, but also the greatest, right?
Well, I mean, it was the greatest we could tell each other after, but into it. I mean,
it was Well, here was okay. I'll give you like the early history of Drunk Jackie when he was underage, going on trips with us, and we would go out drinking.
Right.
And we'd be on these road trips, getting wrestling autographs and staying in hotels and partying with the boys, et cetera, et cetera. Drunk Jackie was a blast to everybody except the one person he would target, because Drunk Jackie would pick one person to pick on. Right. And once you realized that wasn't you, this huge sense of relief would wash over you, and then you would join in the fun. If it was you were going to have a miserable time.
Right. And he could change up at any night you went out, it would be somebody different.
I mean, usually not. Usually not, because because it's not like he sobered up and then got drunk again.
This is true.
He
used to call.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, he would call like...
Well, this is way later. Way later.
He would call 2, 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And when I was living in California, it was worse because... It was 3 o'clock in the morning your time, but for me it was still early. So like I was obligated to answer.
Yeah, no excuse.
If I was awake,
there's no excuse. He knows you're up. Yeah.
He knew, right? And he would just go. I mean, I remember one day he called to bitch about you. I don't know what you did. He blocked you. And it was like 45 minutes. I didn't even get a word in of him just burying you. For 45, but burying you through the history of, it wasn't like he buried you for what you did that week. It was, he literally buried you through history of him knowing you.
Oh, well, put a pin in that. Take a drink, and then I'll explain that.
All right.
What are you drinking over there? Because I literally ran out. I drank all my I drank all my Screwball, so now I'm drinking.
Oh,
My seventh drink uh, Knob Creek.
Knob Creek. All right, I took one.
Knob Creek and ice.
I got really bad allergies today.
Have the other one.
Pollen's kicking my ass.
Have another one. Get your other one down. All right. Jackie was this rare combination where he could get blitzkrieg drunk, but yet his memory was infallible. So what would happen is, not only would he remember everything, he didn't black out. See, I drink, I black out, I forget the night. Everyone has to fill me in. Jackie remembers everything when he's drunk, but also he has just incredible recall and memory in general. So when he gets drunk and he wants to pick on you or call you out for all the, he would do that like kind of like pros and cons thing or like whatever.
Yeah.
Or he would go through your entire history of knowing him, and he would list everything he did for you and everything you did wrong, and he never missed. He always had total recall on that. And the problem was, good for you. He knew you 10 years. He knew me 20. So he had twice as much shit to count down his fingers. Oh, that I did this for that motherfucker. I did that for that motherfucker. I did this. And then this, and then he did this and he did that. It was, he always had the score. He was a scorekeeper. He never forgot of one fucking thing. It was the most annoying, because I'm like, you are just blitzed every day of your life now, dude. How do you still remember all this bullshit? He's bringing up shit, and I'm going,
right.
I'm sitting and listening to the laundry list he's pulling up on me, to me.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, I'm sitting here like listening with like a hand on my fist, elbow on the desk, listening to him, and I'm going, that sounds familiar. Yeah. Like I didn't remember half of what he's talking about. But when he lists it off, I'm like, he's reminding me of shit. I'm like, how does this motherfucker remember it? I don't.
Right. No, like it's so funny because I'm glad you said that, because he literally, I remember this one night he called in California and it was like 1:00 my time. So his time, I think it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and he was fucking hammered. And you had pissed him off. He blocked you, and he literally went down like the history of
memory
YouTube,
row,
like bringing things. And I'm like, why is he telling me? Like, I don't give a fuck. And he literally went down the list of like, wow, the second week I met him, and I'm like, how do you remember that? Like,
right?
You did something to him that week. I don't know. You didn't open a car door. I don't know what it was.
Right?
It was like something ridiculous, and you're like, how does he even remember?
But it would
that?
be such minor infractions as not opening a car door. It would be
right. It wasn't like you did something horrible to him.
Sometimes it was, but other times it wasn't.
Like he would remember, like you guys went to eat and he you were short $2. I'm like, what? Like, right. Well, I give him $2. He never thanked me for that day. And I'm like, what year was this? Like
1988 or 1998. You're like it's 2008 and like 16. What are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he was like, but he was that night. He was like, morning for him. I'm like, what are you blocking him for? I'm like, you're so ridiculous. He's like, fuck that guy. Fuck it. And it's probably like the 20th time he had blocked you on social media at that point.
Yeah.
Like, and Jessica was in the background, who was his wife, and she's like giving him the business, like, get off the phone, go to bed. And I'm like, put her on the phone. He's like, nah, fuck you. I'm like, oh, here we go. He's turned it to me now. And he's like, why do you want to talk to her? I'm like, just put her on the phone. Oh, what are you gonna fucking rat me out? And I'm like,
rat him out.
Right. I'm like, she's listening to you. She's standing next to you. And he's like, yeah, you're all the same. You're all two-faced. So I woke up I ended up going to bed. I woke up, he blocked me. I was blocked because I wanted to talk to Jessica, and I was saying, Jess, get him off the phone, take him to bed. He's like, what? You think I'm too drunk? I was like, you are. We were like going at it. And he got mad at me and blocked me the next morning.
Yeah.
But 6 hours later, he unblocked me.
Yeah.
Like he must have came out of his drunken whatever and was like, "Oh shit," and then he unblocked me. And I commented. I bet I was still fine. I commented on his page like, "Oh, nice to be unblocked" or something. And he's like, "Don't start." I was like, "Yeah." And this is all because you got blocked, and I was like, "You're being ridiculous," and it just quickly turned to his attention to me.
Yeah, because you now have insulted him. The funny thing is, it's like he's. The problem is, I would get nervous because I'm like, I've known him I knew him 20 years, and it's like we both know where all the bodies are buried with each other, and so like he gets drunk and he wants to run me down and run my resume down to people, and I'm like, what's he fucking saying to who, you know? Right. And it's like he'd get so like I always got this weird feeling like that like one time I saw Norman after Jackie passed, and he was like cool with me, but it's like every now and then when Jackie was alive, he was hot and cold with me, and I was like, I just figured it was because Jackie had run me down to him so many times that I must have been like this terrible person in his eyes. But then he sees me best palling with Jackie again, so he's confused too. It was this ridiculous thing, but yeah, but hilarious.
Like, but that was him.
But the funny thing is, like we know the Night Owls and the other fellow drinkers that were roaming, that were available on Facebook near the last couple of years.
He knew too.
Like Paul Jones and him created quite a bond late night for 3 hours at a fucking jog, talking on the phone to each other. You know,
hammered,
probably toasting and doing shots with each other like we do on this podcast. And so God knows what these people think of me, like from Jackie, because like all it takes is him to be mad at you once, and he's like on the phone to like on the phone or on Facebook, total strangers running you down.
Well, it's funny because Paul always says to me every time I talk to him, Paul is a good friend of ours, and Paul always says
when are you going to book him? When are you going to book him?
But I'll ask him this week. I'll call him tomorrow. Yeah. He is notorious for always going. I'm not even kidding you. Every time I talk to him, it's about every 2 weeks, he goes down the list. He always goes, "Man, I miss Jackie." He says it every time. He misses Jackie. And you're right, because they were the drunk 3 a.m. guys talking to each other, getting hammered on the phone.
They really,
and then he
I think that Paul was there for all of Jackie's problems, and that Jackie had Paul for all his problems.
Right,
I mean, Paul, went through some problems too. Yeah.
And he always says he misses Jackie. He always tells me he misses Wayne Van Dyke. And then he always says, "How's our boy JoJo?" And then I tell him, and then he goes, "How's our boy Temple?" He asks me every single time.
Well,
he asks about
I'm glad
you and JoJo.
Yeah.
Yeah. He never asks about Blake, by the way. I just want to let you know.
No, well, nobody cares about Blake.
No, and then he'll tell me, stories about whoever else he's talked to, or he'll tell me, and we do have to have him on I would like to have him on more so to tell his stories about Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty stories for sure, but I'm sure he
has great stories. Cody stories, Dusty, Kenny. He has a story about Willie Nelson with Dusty Rhodes.
I love that
story.
That's when they all partied on the bus or something, right?
They partied, right? Yeah, they hung out.
I think I've heard part of that, but I'd love to hear some of his now that he's fuck it, he's out of it.
Yeah.
Some of the running indie shows stories that he has. I'm curious about some of those battling bombshell fucking nightmares he had to deal with. Like the night that that half the girls came to him for more trans money, because I think there were some miscommunications on that.
Right.
I mean, there's some good stories there. There's some good, and he's a belt collector. I mean, that's pretty.
He's got stories, right?
I mean,
so I'll call him tomorrow and we'll line him up because. Yeah, his wrestling, his Dusty stories, his belt stories. Yeah. He's got Bruce Owens stories,
that's the thing.
And I'm sure he's got tons of Howard Brody stories for us.
Howard Brody. The best part is when we make Paul tell the Howard Brody story with the Howard Brody voice, because that's the rule on the show.
That's the rule.
I'm always excited to hear.
So can I tell you?
new
Do you know where I
people's.
got that voice from?
Well, hold on. I'm always excited to hear new people's version of impressions of Howard Brody. You know what I mean?
I only do the impression because Paul does every time. I got it from Paul because every time I talk to Paul, he does the voice.
This
so
is
then
tremendous.
I was like, wait,
so we may not even have to remind him.
The voice.
We don't have to
right.
even remind him.
You got to talk. Everybody knows you got to talk in the voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a common thing, you know.
Yeah,
and then we'll see if we can get Howard Brody on because he's got some really good wrestling stories. NWA, some WWF stories. He wrote a book. He'll tell us about it 9 million times, and no, I've never read it. And he asks me every day, why did I give you a free copy if you're never going to read it? I don't even know where it is. But maybe I'll read it before the show just so I can, surprise him a little bit.
It's probably being used to keep a table level somewhere.
Yeah, probably. I don't know where it is. Yeah. So, actually, now that you say it, I think it is right here. I actually think I have it. Is that it? Let's see. No, I don't have it. Never mind. Just kidding.
That's all right.
Yeah, I don't even know what the name of the book is.
Didn't he ghostwrite Dusty's book?
I have no idea. No clue. Clue.
I thought he helped write Dusty's book or something like that.
Yeah, no idea. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. No, I don't have the book. I thought I did. I probably lost it. Yeah, but we'll get some guests on. We gotta spice this up a little bit. I mean, nobody wants to just hear me and you anymore. I think we're boring.
We can be. We definitely can be. I mean,
right.
Especially when you come unprepared and 2 hours late.
I'm never unprepared.
So what do you got for us?
I've been Johnny on the spot with my stories lately. I gotta say.
I had to segue you. Wait a minute. You wouldn't have been Johnny on the spot on the last podcast. I literally had to have the brilliant segue to get you to talk about wrestling stories. That was all me.
It was good. Right?
I mean, you had the stories, but you wouldn't even thought to tell them, unless it was my brilliant segue there from talking about.
I will say.
Speaking of the slap, hold on. No.
I want to go back to the slap. No, I want to go back to that because that was my plan to start this whole thing. I wanted to talk about the slap.
First of all, fuck every single one of you workers. And by workers, I mean wrestlers. And by wrestlers, I mean the guys that pretend to wrestle in South Florida, independent wrestling. All of you fucking jaded motherfuckers think everything's a work. Every time I'm on Facebook and something happens, it's a work. Whether it's the Super Bowl or the World Series or the election or this slap. Nothing's real. Everything's a work. Everything's predetermined. Everything's, fake and planned. And there's an ulterior motive. Fuck you.
It's true. Why do you not want to believe it?
You're full of shit. And then you send that link today to us. You send that link, which is like a different angle of Jada fuckhead Smith laughing when Chris Rock says something after he gets slapped. And you're saying that means it's a work. It's like, no, it's not a work. She's laughing at him because he's acknowledging he just got slapped in the face in national television. And you're reading something so sinister into it that includes like a Pfizer fucking vaccine tie-in to her alopecia nonsense and where's Fauci. And I'm just like looking at this nonsense come through the fucking chat. And then you misread someone else's post, and I'm like, oh, this explains everything. He doesn't actually read this stuff. He glances at it and then creates his own narrative.
Listen,
you're not.
First off, I knew at one point you were getting hot, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna keep going to get him hot because
I wasn't getting hot because it didn't make any sense. You started bringing Biden into it, and I'm like,
because I was trying to get you hot.
No, because I literally, as soon, you don't understand. Like, if you had a camera on me when I read that, you brought Biden into, no, you don't understand. When I read that nonsense from you, I literally looked back and forth to see if anyone else was in the room. That it was like is this for me to read? Like I literally looked, like Adam wasn't home yet. I was all alone on the couch. I literally looked right and left after I read your tweet, realized no one was here. And I'm like, this must be for me, but I don't get it. It
It
didn't.
was. I was
Yeah,
getting it hot.
you would, but you weren't because it's such nonsense. When you start like doing those things to try and poke me because I'm a little more liberal than you and I'm a little less conspiratorial than you, and you start like blaming the president for gas prices when I'm educated enough to know he has nothing to do with the why they went up. It's OPEC. I mean, you're just like you're fucking nonsense. And then you
Getting
misread.
worked up.
Then you misread Natalia's
Oh, okay. No, but the
message.
misreading thing, that was pretty fucking close. That's
It's
not, come
okay.
on.
It said Jeff Garner, and I even like the first time I read it, I realized it wasn't our Jeff, and I even like commented on it. Like I put my little fucking GIF, my what you talking about, Arnold
About Willis.
Willis
Arnold,
on
yeah.
it, and then like two like I don't know 20 minutes later you're mentioning it in the group asking if it's our Jeff, and I'm like, why don't you just fucking read it, you dummy? And then I realized
I
you
read it.
and then I'm like realizing you just don't have a reading comprehension and retention level, which is why you start spreading all this other fucking conspiratorial tinfoil hat nonsense because you're not actually reading it properly.
No, yeah, come on. That was a close one.
I mean,
Gardner.
Gardner.
And
Yes,
Gardner.
I understand, but when that happens, I gave it a double take and read it again. You, on the
Well,
other
I'll
hand,
say, if
you on the other
anybody
hand,
else
go the other
posted
way.
it, if anybody else posted it, I would have been like, no. It's because Marco's wife posted it. That's the only reason I was like, it's gotta be Jeff Gardner. like, I mean, we all know that Marco and the Snake Master are like, they're like buddies. Like they've
Well,
been that way for
Hold on,
20 years.
they were like buddies
Right.
until the snake pit moved into his house, and that
Right.
that girl, that garbage girl, who's sort of taking care of him
Oh,
in his
here we go.
declining year. Yeah, no, sort of taking care of him as he's declining here, but also, let's be honest, any opportunity for her to do a GoFundMe, she's gonna pounce upon. So let's just say that the bottom
All
feeding.
right, I'm not getting into that.
There's a bottom feeding frenzy going on right now while a man is dying in a hospital. So
Anyway, why were you talking about that? Move on from that.
because I know it makes you uncomfortable.
It does.
Uh,
What I was going to say is so not only the conspiracy Will Smith thing. I was just messing with you at one point. I was like, this is funny. But I got to tell you, I got a call today from someone, and someone that I know and Blake knows.
do I know him?
You know of, right?
I know of them.
I think you've met her before. I'm not going to say her name, but
What
she's
is
a
it?
friend.
What does it
Friend of
rhyme
ours.
with?
I don't even know.
Is she a listener of the show?
No, probably not. But
I'm trying to figure this out.
I'm not going to bring her name into it. But anyway,
God damn
so
it.
I get like a whole bunch of text messages from her today. I've known her for 20 years. So
Which is a feat.
she
Women actually talking to you for 20 years is a
Right, I know.
miraculous feat.
right. Maybe not 20 years, maybe 15 years.
It's still, even still,
Right.
a Herculean
So anyway,
effort to stay friends with you when you're a female
Very
for
true.
20 years, not 15
Right.
years.
She's made it this far. So she like sent me a whole bunch of texts, and she was kind of like getting into some conspiracy stuff. But I was driving, so I couldn't like respond. So she calls me, and she's like, "Do you see what I'm like my conspiracy stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can't respond. I'm driving." She started talking about the Bible, which I know nothing about. Like, I will admit it. I was raised a Catholic. I don't know nothing. Like, the day that I got my confirmation and my parents said I didn't have to go anymore when I was 18, I stopped going to church. So I just didn't.
Wait, her name doesn't start with a D, does it?
Okay, you know who I'm talking about.
Well,
So,
once you said you and Blake knew her, I was like, and I know of her. I've met her. Come
right.
on.
Yeah, you met her. Yeah. So, so she went on a 45-minute like reading me Bible verses and
Jesus.
talking about the devil and like what's going on in our country and our world is like based on the Bible and I'm like, you're interpreting things in your head that way. Like, that's not what that says. And she's like, yes, that's what it means. And I'm like, but you're interpreting it that way. And I mean, I guess if you believe that, then that's fine. But 45, I mean, reading these scriptures. And this person's actually sent me a Bible before, by the way, like recently. I got a Bible in the mail, and I was like, what is this?
I'll be
He's like,
honest with you, but her behavior with you and Blake, she shouldn't be sending anyone Bibles.
right, right. So, anyway, I got a Bible from her because apparently I need Jesus.
You do.
So we went
You
on this, she
definitely
went on
need.
this,
You need something in your
yeah,
life.
something.
You might as well get
We
right
went on
with
this
Jesus. Play the
45
odds.
minute rant
Yeah.
of she's reading these scriptures, and so that was like earlier today. Well, she calls me back later on because she wants to continue this because now she wants to talk about, is the earth round or flat?
Oh my God.
I'm like, I just don't have the energy for this.
You're gonna get
And
sucked into like every Sunday Bible study on the fucking phone.
right, and I'm like, I'm not even arguing any of this. I'm like, I don't know why was I the chosen
No,
one
no, no,
today
no,
to
no, no. You better be arguing whether the Earth is flat or round.
Well, it's not that. It's just that I don't know. Like, I don't want to have this conversation. Like, this is not what I want to do. Like, So,
I'm so
and
glad you got stuck doing this.
45-minute conversations today about like, and it's all based around like Jesus and the Bible and flat Earth and round Earth and have we ever gone to the moon? Is that real? Why
Oh
we
my
haven't
God.
gone since? And are aliens real and are aliens fake? And I'm like, I'm literally just going, yeah, And look, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Like on my coffee table in my living room is an entire conspiracy book. Like it's
You're a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, fucking
right,
conspiracy guy.
right, right. I mean, she's asking me things like, how come no one has ever flown their plane into the dome? What fucking dome are we talking about? Right.
Well, the dome
Like,
over the flat Earth,
I guess.
Oh my God, what a goofy nincompoop.
Right, right. Like, I mean, do you think the space station is inside the dome? This is the kind of stuff. So, and look, I've known this person a really long time. We don't have, like, I don't know where, first of all, we don't ever talk on the phone like this. We just send memes to each other usually. So, I don't know where this conversation came from today, but I, like, literally, like, it drained me. Like, this was driving home. I was drained coming into this podcast because I had to listen to this talk for another 45 minutes twice today about this stuff. And I'm literally just going, yeah, okay. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't, like, this is not something I wanted to get into. So, but conspiracies, that's where I was going with this. I'm a conspiracy guy. I got the greatest plot, collusions and cover-up conspiracy book sitting right here. So when people come over, they can read it. They can read the conspiracy book. But she really was trying to, I don't even know if she was trying to convince me if the earth was flat or round. I don't know what argument she was even making at this point. I had no idea. No clue. No clue. But apparently Jesus is here to save me because I got a Bible now. So, yeah, I'll start reading Bible verses next week, opening the show.
Please don't. I don't.
No, I would.
I can't.
She's like, have you read it?
I can't deal with that religion bullshit.
Right. She's like, have you? And look, again, I grew up Catholic, whatever. I just, it's not that I don't like have faith in something, but I just don't go to church. I don't. She's like, did you read the Bible? I was like, I don't even know where it is. Like it's where with Howard Brody's book, actually, if you really want to know. But
they're in the same box.
Yeah, same box packed away, somewhere far away. But anyway, I came into this dream today because I'm not even. I'm going to go back to food for a second. I was so mentally tired listening to her for 45 minutes that somewhere in between the 30-minute to 35-minute mark, I got on DoorDash and ordered pizza so that it would be at the house as I pulled in. And I was going to cook tonight. I pulled in my driveway and DoorDash pulled in literally right behind me. I got out of my car. She got out of the car same time, handed me the pizza. Perfect fucking timing.
Beautiful.
But I was so mentally drained. I was like, I have to order a pizza. Like, Jesus is telling me to order a pizza here because she's mentally drained me with this conversation. Literally. Yeah. She called back twice because I gave her the old, I'm getting a work call. And then she called back twice and was like, you're not answering my calls. I was like, yeah, I'm busy. Like, I just don't want to listen to it anymore.
She may listen to this.
She don't listen. No.
No?
She don't listen to us. Maybe she does. If she does, Yeah. Hi.
Well, at least you'll know not to blow your phone up with more of this bullshit.
Right. But yeah.
I
Anyway, I
get
don't even
I
know where I
get a
was going with
little
that rant.
listen, I get a little nervous when mothers with kids are on that kind of a fucking tilt. Like that this kind
Right.
of rant about like flat earth and end of times and yada yada. I'm like, listen, don't fucking fuck your kids up with that bullshit. And also like I get
Right.
nervous they're gonna be the next headline in the fucking news. Like mother takes, poisons family and herself and leaves note waiting for Jesus or what, all that bullshit.
Right. Right. No. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God.
fucking weird.
Really
Yeah.
weird.
Right. It is. So anyway, I feel like I got worked up telling that story.
I feel like I want to like start a Tinder account just to like fish for those types of Looney Tunes, just to get some
That
good conversations to read on the podcast. Like,
actually would be hilarious. Yeah. Well, catfishing
yeah.
just to get some. Yeah. You got to put Blake's picture up though as your profile picture.
Oh
That
yeah,
would make it even better.
yeah. Well, the problem is he's already on there probably, so they're gonna be like, wait a minute, you got
I'm
two,
sure.
you
Yeah.
got two profiles and they're very different from each other. What are you just
Right.
trying to
Right.
cast the widest net possible? This one says you're
Yeah.
Jewish over here.
Listen, let's not get him broken up. She may be listening. You never know. She
Oh,
could be a fan.
if she is, she should just get
Yeah.
out now. Get out now.
Shut out now. Let's make her run for it. Yeah. Yeah. So, and well, I gotta sneeze. The pollen's killing me. Oh my god. I'm sick over here because this pollen. I'm tempted to I'm fucking button up this house, sell it, and move somewhere back on the beach because I am absolutely dying from this pollen. Dying.
You should sell that house before the market
No, I
stops.
just can't. No, I mean I can make a lot of money, but oh Jesus, here we go. So pollen is bad. I mean, there was a pollen storm yesterday. You ever heard of that?
A pollen storm?
So we're in the store. I'm in one of my stores, and we're like just shooting the shit at the front. And we look outside, and we had like a really bad wind advisory yesterday. And they said it could get up to 50 miles an hour. All of a sudden, it's about 5 minutes of this insane, like 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, and all you see outside is all the pollen. It looked like you ever see like a sandstorm in the desert, like in the West Coast, like California, or you couldn't even see outside because it was just 5 minutes of wind blowing and a sheet of yellow, and all the leaves from the trees like flying everywhere. And it stopped, and I was leaving. I went outside, and it was just floating in the air. It was like on my skin. I was so itchy. It was all my whole entire car was covered. Someone drew a penis on the hood of my car in the fucking pollen, so I have a giant penis on my hood, like literally the size of my hood.
Good. Good.
Yeah, good, hilarious. Because I have a black car, so the yellow pollen. It was that thick of pollen where they literally traced the penis, and it like was a giant penis on my hood.
Yeah.
And of course, I just got in the car and I was like, oh fuck it. Thank God it rained last night.
It's not like I haven't had penises drawn on my car before.
Yeah, well, my kids did it and my boss saw it, so wouldn't be the first time. But
Well,
yeah,
you don't strike me as the guy who gets his car washed every other week.
I honestly have never washed my car.
Right, exactly.
Thank God it rained last night. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, pollen storm. I never seen that before, and it was on the radio. They're like, "Oh, it was a pollen storm." I'm like, "The fuck was that?" Like, that's insane. I've never seen that shit before.
See,
Pretty wild, but
like a pollen storm would imply the pollen came from the clouds.
yeah, it didn't. It
Yeah,
came from the
it's just
fucking
like-
trees.
It's just like oh, it was windy and it's pollen season. That's like
Yeah.
I don't know how you call it a pollen storm, but I guess anything to make the news interesting for another night.
Right, right. But it was pretty. Like my allergies are really bad right now. I'm popping Mucinex and Allegra like there's nobody's business, but I can't. I'm dying. I feel like I got hit in the face with a shovel. So, I'm a little under the weather here. So
How's
you should
all
give me
that?
credit
How's
for
all that?
stepping into the podcast sick. here.
How's all that mixed with the Tito's?
My mixed drink is a Gatorade and a Tito's.
No, but I mean
I don't know if anybody.
all the medicine.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. You know what's funny? You say that now. I can't figure out why am I sweating. I'm talking to you and I'm going. I am profusely sweating right now.
It's because
like,
you're fat.
Really pouring out of.
You're like really
it's
fat.
Pouring out of my forehead, and like I'm sweating, and I'm like, that's probably it. I literally took Mucinex right before you called, took the shots, and now I'm drinking Gatorade and Tito's. So probably a bad mixture.
Oh, you'll live.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, anyway, I did order the pizza. Like I said, it's fantastic from I Love New York Pizza. So, which I got to tell you, another food topic. I got into it with the Huckleberries here in town because someone asked on our local town thing, where do I get good New York style pizza? And some asshole is like, order the Domino's New York style, and I'm like, you fucking serious? Like, why would you tell somebody that? So I look and everyone is like saying fake pizza places. So I commented, and I didn't want to, and I was like, I have to do it. And I was like, you guys have no idea what pizza is. Like, you got to order it from I Love New York Pizza. They're from Italy to New York to here. They've been making pizzas for 30 years. And everybody jumped on me. They're like, how could you eat that? And I'm like, because it's real pizza. They're like, no, it's not. Papa John's is real pizza. And I was like, you're a bunch of Huckleberries. And they deleted my comments. So I guess I pissed off everybody in town because they deleted all my comments. But the woman who asked seeked me out and said, hey, I went there. I'm from New York. Holy shit, was that good? These Huckleberries have no idea what they're talking about. So, boom. But they delete. Every time I make a comment, they delete it. Because I usually take shots at Waffle House, and they delete my comment every time.
Well, you deserve it for that. Waffle House is the king.
No, we don't need another one. We got
king
6
in
like a 3-mile radius.
Well, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, don't talk bad about the Waffle House. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying. We need something else here. We need something more than a Waffle House. And if anybody doesn't know, I think we've discussed this before. Waffle House is pretty much the low of low of
No,
food.
Come on, get the fuck out of here, man.
No, the food is fantastic, but the atmosphere is pretty sketchy usually.
I mean, it depends on the neighborhood and the time of day. Time of day.
We have a Huddle House here. I've never been there though, to a Huddle House.
They're all right. You should.
I
check it out.
The Huddle House was pancakes. I thought it was like Waffle Houses, like that was a shot at Waffle House, like we're gonna do it but with pancakes. It's not at all.
No.
They don't even fucking serve pancakes.
No.
I'm disappointed.
Why?
Because I thought it was a pancake house.
It's not.
To go against the Waffle House.
Doesn't mean it's
not.
Doesn't mean it's bad.
I know, but that would have been genius to make a location that looks the same as Waffle House, but instead you serve pancakes. It's fucking brilliant. Instead, they serve waffles too. I'm like, man, why would I go to Waffle House if I want?
I don't really know that there's much. To me, there's not much of a difference between a waffle and a pancake. To be honest with you.
What?
I mean,
you just say that?
One has divots and one doesn't. I mean, that's it. One has little spaces for delicious melted butter and syrup to collect in, and the other's a flat surface where everything runs off. I just think there's no comparison.
Totally different taste.
It's waffle all day, every day.
They don't even taste the same.
You don't taste the same.
No. Oh man. Well, I don't know. Hopefully, Speedy brought his Breakfast Club shirt to WrestleMania weekend. I just wanted to get that in there.
I don't think he's going to WrestleMania weekend. He works for the competition.
No? I don't know. He just saw a post from Simon Says with Speedy at a show. I don't know where this show is at.
Oh,
but
maybe I'm wrong. Although they're both Central Florida guys now, so.
Never know.
Was he see, here's the problem. I saw Simon make a post that he was heading out to Dallas.
Right.
And he was kind of like doing those mea culpas where it's like, I get it, I'm a mark, I'm going to WrestleMania, but so what? I can't tell you the number of people I know that basically would like call someone a mark for going to WrestleMania, that all were like, "Oh, go do you. Go be a fan." Blah blah blah. I'm like reading all these people like Howard and Larry and
Right.
I forget who else. I don't think Bruce, but some of these other people, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What world am I living in here?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, if you want to end this talking wrestling,
I have a lot.
feel
I
like
have a lot of
wrestling.
people. I have a lot of friends that went to Dallas for WrestleMania.
It doesn't feel like WrestleMania weekend.
I'm
Sorry.
just saying, I had a lot of friends go. I should have gone
Right.
just to hang out with them.
Right. You should've,
Even
but-
Ollie from England went.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Nice. He probably knows who I am because I'm famous over there.
maybe
Oh.
he might.
He's probably like, you know that guy?
He's like, that twat wanker. He gets all the birds.
He gets it. Yeah, probably. He probably knows me. But it doesn't feel like WrestleMania, and it's really the 10-year-old boy in me is very sad because this is really the first year. I feel like they did a really shitty job, and maybe just because we don't watch the product as much, but
At all.
like I just don't feel like it's WrestleMania. I don't watch it at all. You don't watch it at all, right? It just
The
doesn't
fucked
feel
up
like
thing is
WrestleMania is not special anymore to
The
me.
fucked up thing is I'm going to watch both nights
Right.
just to see if anything happens.
But it doesn't feel special.
But I'm not like looking for. I haven't been planning forward for 2 weeks for it. I haven't been like looking ahead or getting excited or like
right.
or like in like a decade ago where I would go to every one of them. I would literally fly out and go to them. So
But even if you didn't, like, even like the pandemic year, it was cool because it was first time ever 2 nights, and
yeah, but
you
you
had
were
nothing to
you were
do,
just
stuck
curious
in the house.
Yeah, but you were curious
Right.
what they were going to do because they didn't have an audience.
No crowd, right? But this is just there's nothing to it. There's no build. There's no I'm not excited about it. I don't care. And honestly, I may not even watch it. I may not even turn it on.
I mean, there's 2 nights, so you could pop in and out.
But the 2 nights makes it feel not special anymore.
It does. It's too much.
Yeah. Nick the Dick just gave me the thumbs up. He agrees.
Well, thank God. It's good to know that our opinions have been validated by Nick the Dick.
Right. Give me the thumbs up. He agrees. It's not special anymore. It's not. I'd rather watch AEW. I can't wait till Wednesday.
Right.
For AEW.
Or Friday.
Because that's the most exciting wrestling on TV.
For the 1 hour pre-tape show.
Yeah. Right. It's just exciting wrestling. It's exciting wrestling. I can't get behind WWE product. It's just nothing for me.
I just can't get behind you, to be honest.
Thank God I don't want you behind me.
I just
especially after 7 drinks.
Listen. Even after 7 drinks, you look like a train wreck, my friend.
Yeah. I'm not the type.
No, at all.
I'm too heavy.
Yeah. Listen, I am picky beyond my reach these days. That's for sure. But it is what it is. I would just say that it was more like I just can't with your bullshit fucking conspiracy theories and thinking everything's a work.
I thought we were done with that.
No, you brought it up. I'm just gonna say that slap was legit, and
yeah, legit, totally.
And you're just a fucking lunatic.
He's selling tickets like nobody's business. It's legit.
Well, no, he's not selling tickets. The resale market is selling tickets.
Yeah. Why? They're adding shows. What are you talking about?
Well, he might be adding shows, but
he is. He added one in Atlanta.
Yeah,
there was only one. Now he's got 2.
You tire me. All right, I'm done with you.
You added 4 in another state. It's work. It's you. You have been worked by Chris Rock and Will Smith.
I have not.
And Jada Pinkett Smith.
I'm telling you, Will Smith didn't shit on his career just so Jada could get a fucking Propecia commercial or whatever the fuck she said.
And her red table, she's gonna go back on there talking about how she banged Tupac and make him look like a fool again.
And that guy August, whatever his name
is.
Yeah.
August. They're fucking entanglements.
Entanglements. Yeah. What a douchebag word.
What a douchebag word. It really, really is a douchebag word.
And the fact that he, with holding back tears trying to fucking look like it doesn't bother him, like repeating
Right.
that word to her. Like, I just want to fucking listen. I want to slap Will Smith. I want to slap him back into being a man, like that fucking.
Right.
I want to be like that scene in The Godfather where Johnny Fontaine's like, I don't know what to
Yes.
do. I don't know what to do. And the Godfather slaps him across the face
Slaps
and
the
goes,
shit out of him,
you
right.
can act like a man.
Right. Right. Yep.
Oh, shit.
So true.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna go eat this pizza
Yeah, I'm done with you anyways. It's all good. Go
and post a picture.
feed
All right.
your face.